Hey yo, welcome back to the channel. Today is another in a series of videos where we're talking about knife steel. You got maybe a knife like this little Volstead here, and you got 14C 28 in it. We're like, there we go, snap in 14C 28 in, and you wonder what the heck is that? Is it a good steel? Is it good for you? Is it good for this knife? So we're going to be talking about that, the characteristics of the steel, whether it's a good steel or bad steel, you should avoid it, some of the best ways to use it maybe. And if you'd like to hear more about that, go ahead and check out the video. Can you make it? Okay, pay attention, be careful. Can you do it? Can you do it? All right, give me a yay. All right, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. Hi to all my viewers. Bonjour, privet, guten tag, hola, ciao, konnichiwa, and good day, mate, to my foreign viewers. And today we're going to be talking about 14C28 steel. It's pretty good steel. Most people say it's a good steel. I don't have a lot of experience with it. These two knives here, this is a QSP knife, and this Volstead knife right here have 14C28. I've not really hard used either one of them. I've used them some, so I don't have a lot of experience. We're going to go on what the experts say and what other people say, and I'll pass that on to you and let you know a little bit about what I know about the steel. Okay, 14C28 is a Sandvik steel, and that is a Swiss steel. It's relatively new steel, so this steel came out around 2009, and it was developed to take the place of 2013C27, and so they wanted to make the steel harder and a little more corrosion resistance, and so Sandvik produced this steel. So far, it's been a winner. A lot of different manufacturers use this steel, like Kershaw, Mora, Rake, Civivi, Real Steel, and many others. If you go onto a website and you just call up folding knives, or just call up knives with that steel in it, you'll probably get 20-30 of them that pop up. It's considered a budget steel, so that doesn't mean that it's crappy. It just means it's affordable. Okay, it's a budget steel. It's very affordable, and more manufacturers are starting to use it. It has some really cool characteristics, and so it has a pretty wide range of HRC scale, on the HRC scale. So you can harden it at 55 to 62 HRC, and that's just remarkable. And that's one of the really cool benefits of the steel. And so with that, you can apply it to a lot of different applications. And so if you need a tough steel and you're going to put it in a bushcraft application, you can dial down the HRC. If you're putting it in a pocket knife, you want it to stay sharp a long time, you could dial up the HRC. So a lot of variability, a lot of good things about this steel from the producer side. So it's real easy to work with. One, the heat treatment is really simple on the steel. Two, it's very machinable, meaning it's easy to cut, sharpen, punch out blades. and form the knife blade. And so more and more users are starting to take advantage of this steel. So it falls in that range of steels like AEBL, if you're familiar with that steel, and also Nitro V, which is a brand new steel. They're all very comparable in their chemistry, and it's similar to some of its closest cousins, I guess, would be HCR13. Has that toughness of HCR13, and it's like VG10 because it has that edge retention that VG10 has. All right, so you're looking at the chemical composition right now. It has 0.62% carbon, 14% chromium, so it is a stainless steel. It has 0.6 magnesium, 0.11 nitrogen, 0.3 silicon, 0.02 phosphorus, 0.01 sulfur. And so usually sulfur and phosphorus are considered contaminants in steel, but this is a very clean steel. Swiss steel is known for its purity. And so when you add those ingredients in a measured way, they actually contribute to the steel. So phosphorus will make the steel harder, and it makes it more corrosion resistant. And sulfur adds to the machinability, which is one of the reasons why this steel is easy to work with. The thing to notice is the carbon content's just 0.62%, so that's down around the range of 440A or AUS6. So why does it have such good edge retention? And that's the nitrogen. And so nitrogen, they use nitrogen to replace the carbon in the steel, which makes it harder, which gives you that edge retention in the steel. It also gives you that wide range of HRC. And so let's see where I want to go with this. All right, so if you compare 14C28 to D2, D2 probably has around 20% better edge retention than 14C28. However, D2 is not very corrosion resistant at all. And so if you're looking for that corrosion resistance, 14C28 is a good option over D2 for you. Let's look at the toughness, edge retention, and corrosion chart. All right, so I put a lot of steels up there. You can see at the top is 14C28, and it's a 9 on the toughness scale. There's really only one steel tougher than 14C28. Then there's a number that are as tough as 14C28, but only one that's tougher. So it's really tough steel and really appropriate in the bushcraft arena if you wanted a good stainless steel. You can see the edge retention is 3. Everybody describes it as good or excellent. I don't think that's excellent. I think that's good. I would call that decent. Okay, so like A2 has a edge retention of 2.5, and so it's decent. It's a little bit better than the carbon steels, non-alloy carbon steels, and then the corrosion is at 8.5. Resistance. If you look at 420C, how's it compared to that? You can see that it has a higher edge retention than 420C, and it's a higher corrosion resistance. So it's very similar to 420C. If you look at AEBL, again, that's a 9 in toughness, but it has a 4.5 in edge retention with a corrosion at 7.5. So you're suffering some corrosion resistance for that extra edge retention. And I'd say that's about 20% more, about the same as D2. The surprise comes as you go through this chart. And so if you look at CPM 154, it's a pretty tough steel. It's not as tough as 14C28. It has a 4.5% edge retention. And so, that's competitive. When you're around 20% edge retention, you're competitive with another steel. And of course, 14C28 is a budget steel. CPM 154 is not. If you look at M390, different kind of steel. This is a higher alloy steel. It's 3.5% toughness on it with the edge retention of 6.5. So that's almost an inversion of what C28 is. So I really like M390 steel. I don't think maybe that's the best steel for bushcraft. I'm sure it'll do just fine, but there are a lot tougher steels out there. And so 14C28 would be one of them. If you look at A2, this is a high carbon steel. A2 is high carbon steel. And it's a 6.5 in toughness with a edge retention of 2.5. So this is where you're going to see 14C28 really shine when you match it up to 1095, D2, A2, those type of low alloy carbon steels. It's just a better steel. And I really wish Case would go to that 14C28 over their True Sharp steel. I think it's better. You get better edge retention. I think it'd be easier for them to work the steel to make the blades. And it's easy to sharpen. So it has a really good grain structure. And it's easy to sharpen this steel right back up. You see K390 there, Crewwear, and 01, which again, it blows 01 away. These carbon steels, it's just a lot tougher, longer edge retention. It also puts ADCRV2 to shame. So this ADCRV2 is the latest budget steel these manufacturers are trying to put in their knives, but 14C28 is a much better steel than ADCRV2. And then you see Nitro V at the bottom, very comparable. So Nitro V, AEBL, and 14C28 are all really, really comparable steels. And they differ just slightly, and their performance does too. So depends on the test. I've seen 14C28 beat Nitro V, but then I've seen Nitro V beat 14C28. And I think you're talking about the HRC hardness of the steels. So when 14C28 has less of an HRC, which I think, don't quote me on it, but I think QSP is putting these in at 57 to 59, and the max is 62. So when you take this steel 14C28 in to 62 HRC, it's going to really, really perform well with edge retention, and yet still you'll be able to sharpen it really easily. You can strop it and it brings back the edge on these things. So and that's because of the good grain structure that this steel has. So that's the lowdown on 14C28. Overall, you don't have to worry about it. It's a good steel. I think you need to be careful on who manufactures it. Like Kershaw leaks are known just to have great edge retention, whereas some other companies might have a lesser edge retention, and that's because they're not bringing the HRC level up where they should be. Other than that, I think it's a solid steel. I would prefer it over VG10, for instance, in stainless steels. And I think I would prefer it over 420C. They're really close, but I think I would prefer 14C28 over 420C. And then it depends on the application or whether you want it. I think it would do really well in the heavy use bushcraft knife arena over some of these carbon steels like 01. 01, you just look at it and it rusts. 01 just oxidizes really quick. It's a really good steel. It's a hard, tough steel, but it just corrodes so easy. And then 1095, I think this steel would outperform 1095, hands down. It's tougher. 1095 has a 4.5 toughness and an edge retention of 1.5. So, 14C28 is 100% improved in those areas over 1095. So I think, in that light use bushcraft arena, it would perform just excellent. And in the pocket knife arena, it's just fine. Good to go steel. And it'll save you some money. So knives with this steel in it tend to run between $50 and $100. So it'll save you some money. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative. And thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. Your likes, your shares, your comments. I really enjoy them. Thanks again.